With the deadline of the 30th of June approaching and Aston Villa having to sell one significant player for PSR reasons, all eyes have been on Emi Martinez and whether he'll go to the Saudi Pro League or a new challenge in Europe. However, looming and lurking in the shadows is one player that Aston Villa may have a very difficult decision to make on. And this player is going to completely change the landscape of Villa's PSR. But it's also one player that Villa call one of their own, a player in which they certainly don't want to lose. This is the story of Jacob Ramsey and the difficult transfer decision Aston Villa must make on this player. Welcome on to the video. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Aston Villa are in a predicament and we're going to have to talk about this. But before we do, make sure you smash a like on this video. We're aiming for 100 likes. Second of all, subscribe to the channel if you're new and do turn on the notification bell and welcome all return subscribers. But most importantly, do get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings on this story and situation. And I do apologize if there's any lip audio or sync issues today. I'm having massive trouble with the internet. This is the third time that I've recorded this video. Trust me, we're going to hopefully get it right. But appreciate if you've got this far. But hopefully not too many issues on this one. We will get that resolved. Let's get into the story then of Jacob Ramsey. Oh boy. This one is a fascinating one because let me put this on record. This is not the first time a player of Jacob Ramsey's caliber has been linked away to Aston Villa, and not the first time Jacob Ramsey has either. A young English prospect who has caught the name and the eyes of neutrals and, of course, others when doing so well for Aston Villa. Jacob Ramsey has, though, had a plague of injuries where he's done the same metatarsal a few times and had almost what felt like stop-start career in the last 2 years. Jacob Ramsey, though, this year has had more game time, more opportunities, and for once has settled Aston Villa. But of course, when Marcus Rashford came along in January, it did feel once again that Jacob Ramsey had been slightly casted to the side and Rashford making room for him. Now, of course, Rashford playing as the number 9 has changed that scope and given Ramsey some more game time. These are the stats of what Jacob Ramsey has produced this season, and have a look at this. And I want to know your thoughts on this. Jacob Ramsey this season has had 46 appearances, of which 4 goals and 7 assists. What this graph and stats does not show you is, of course, with those appearances, how many from the starting 11, how many minutes he's played, and all his contributions overall. So 11 GA this season, something that Ramsey will take with as a bit of pride, but also something that he knows that he can build on. So why is this a difficult decision for Villa? Well, there has been many transfer murmurs again coming into this 30th of June deadline. The first one that's come about is, of course, Newcastle being linked with Harvey Barnes as a swap deal as part of Jacob Ramsey. Eddie Howe shut that rumour mill down straight away and basically closed that one out. However, last night, Tom Colomos from the Mail Sport reported that Jacob Ramsey is popular at both Newcastle and West Ham. And though it seems that that interest with Harvey Barnes has died, it doesn't seem that Newcastle's interest in our player has disappeared. And it may be something that they go and look into. As for West Ham United, it completely baffles me that a club like West Ham would be linked to Jacob Ramsey, as that seems a completely backward step. The only thing, though, that I can say about West Ham is they have been known to pull out that money for certain players and big names in occasions. From Paqueta to Kudos to Folkrug to Wan-Bissaka, West Ham like a big name signing to keep their fans happy. And maybe a player like Jacob Ramsey could be that option. However, that is not the main decision today of what's being looked at in the rumour mill. The actual rumour of Jacob Ramsey is a lot bigger and stronger than that. And it says here, and you need to read this carefully, Aston Villa could be forced to sell Jacob Ramsey after missing out on the Champions League, with Arsenal, Newcastle and Tottenham all keen on a £50 million deal. I mean, so much to take in that situation. Forced, first of all, the word forced. Second of all, Villa missing out on Champions League, and then the price tag of the teams around it. Let me be clear. I believe this situation as well. I believe that Aston Villa simply do not want to sell Jacob Ramsey. I think they enjoy having Jacob Ramsey in as part of the squad, and they know that this boy has a lot of ceiling. Unai Emery has come out and talked about the potential of Ramsey and the fact that him and Rodgers love playing together. But as I have kept telling people this week, us missing out on Champions League is going to be felt. Although we must be so proud and celebrating the fact that we've qualified for Europe 3 times in a row and that we will be playing the Europa League, missing out on that Champions League is starting to be noticeable. With the likes of Marcus Rashford and Asensio probably not signing for us, the fact our transfer plan has had to rechange, and the money that we've lost out on qualifying for Champions League football. This is another reason why Jacob Ramsey is being linked away. And when you look at the three clubs, Arsenal, Newcastle and Tottenham, all who will be playing Champions League, and that price tag of 50 million, it seems almost inevitable that Jacob Ramsey will not be an Aston Villa player. That £50 million will be massive for PSR because Jacob Ramsey, as I said at the start, is one of our own. He's a boyhood graduate. He came through the academy. He's absolutely loved his time at the Villa and has taken it by storm in the first team. He's even progressed better than his brother Aaron, who again came through the academy for Villa, and we ended up selling to Burnley and making good PSR profit on that. It looks like JJ is going to follow in his brother's footsteps. So the question I've got to ask you Villa fans is this. When that price tag of 50 million is being offered for Jacob Ramsey, are you thinking like I am? Thank you very much. That is great money. I'm taking that right now. With his injury record that I touched on at the start of this video, that would be absolutely crazy to reject that sort of money for JJ. Or are you on the other side of the coin, which is again somewhere I land, is how bad would it be to see Jacob Ramsey flourish at a team like Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham? Go break into that England setup, like Thomas Tuchel has already said he is this close to doing, and going to be on and win trophies and get loads of GA and absolutely take the Premier League by storm. I would find that really difficult to see another one of our own go and do that. But we're in a situation and we're in a financial crisis. And when you look at that, with Jacob Ramsey, £50 million, it's too hard to turn down. Yes, Emi Martinez and Saudi Arabian money may be an option and maybe something that's there, but it simply will not be the same as the £50 million of profit that Jacob Ramsey brings. So many questions, many thoughts are there, and there has been these rumours and speculation, and Jacob Ramsey has even posted a bit of a cryptic Instagram post thanking his time for Villa, how Villa Park has been rocking, how he's loved playing across all these competitions, and people like Morgan Rogers have commented, and has Tyrone Mings, and there's always that sort of worry and doubt when players sort of put these posts. I personally feel that Jacob Ramsey is one of those players we're going to see leave and exit before the 30th of June. And as I said, let's just hope it's not going to be to a rival where he comes back and haunts us. So please let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions around Jacob Ramsey. Would you rather see other players leave? Do you think he's indispensable, or does this one make sense to you? I know there are people out there who absolutely love and adore one of their own. There are fans out there who want nothing better than a player who's come through the academy to go be a captain, to go lift a trophy, and that fairy tale of football. But it's not always fairy tale stories. And we have to be strategic. We have to do what's best for the football club, and we have to do what's best to close this PSR gap. And Jacob Ramsey seems the solution and answer to that. So watch this space. That is the latest Aston Villa transfer update on Jacob Ramsey. It is a difficult decision that Aston Villa will have to make, and I, for one, will be locked in to see what happens. Make sure you smash the like on this video, as I said. Get in the comment section. I really can't wait to read all your comments on this one. And, of course, subscribe if you're new. People, I'll be back for more uploads and content daily on Aston Villa from the stands. I'm out of here. Ta-da.